o'clock. Thank you for, are we ready? Oh. It is 6 o'clock. Thank you for attending our May 6th Bedford Board of Education meeting. Mrs. Boynton, would you please read?
Sure. Due to the passage of House Bill 197 and in response to the COVID-19 public health crisis and the governor's order prohibiting mass gathering, the Board of Education meeting will be virtual. You may view by internet live stream, semicolon, HTTP, //board.bedfordschools.org or Spectra Cable TV, channel 1025. If you wish to speak during the audience participation portion of the agenda, please complete the audience participation card online at http://participate.bedfordschools.org, or presentations are limited to 3 minutes each. Thank you.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Parkinson?
Mrs. Boynton,
Here.
Mr. Kennedy,
Here.
Mrs. Patterson,
Present.
Mr. Stevens,
Here.
Mr. Tench.
Here.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all.
Thank you. Awards and presentations, Dr. Selico.
Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. Good evening, board. Good evening to those of you who are watching us this evening. We have two folks here that we would like to honor, one being a student and one being a coach. And if I may just read a little snippet of each, and then you will see their pictures and their honors listed on the TV screens. So first off, we have Holly Bennett, and she won the honors at a recently held Ohio Education Music Association Spring District 07 High School Virtual Solo and Ensemble Remote Contest. And we also want to acknowledge her teachers, Mr. Sean Nichols, Mr. Kevin Gibaldi, and Mr. Fred Asmus, in preparing her for the contest. And she won vocal soprano. She received a rating 1 in Class A, which means outstanding performance. And she also had a violin solo where she also had a rating 1 in Class A, which also means outstanding performance. So congratulations to Holly. There she is. Very proud of her. I've heard nothing but wonderful things, and I've actually had the opportunity, as has Dr. Johnson, to hear her play. They sent us some snapshots of her work, and it was wonderful. She's very, very talented. Our second honor is for our basketball coach of the year. Mr. Pete Priola was named Cleveland.com basketball coach of the year, and our team, as you well know, were the season conference champs and also the district runner-up. And there's a great action shot of Coach Priola. So congratulations to both of them. We appreciate all the work they've done, and we know that those are some great honors and representing the district well. So thank you and congratulations to both of them.
All right, any audience participation?
Yes, we have one audience participation. Sharon Macklin calling to discuss the status of the transportation department.
Hello, you reached me once again. I must be busy.
Okay,
So.
Carrying on.
all right, moving right along. 4.01 consent agenda. I didn't hear any opposes to the agenda, so the consent agenda stands approved. I need a motion.
So
Moved by Mr. Tench,
Second.
second.
second by Mrs. Boynton. No questions. Roll call, please.
Mr. Tench,
Aye.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy,
Aye.
Mr. Stevens,
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson.
Aye. 5-0, thank you, board. Okay. 5.01, this is second reading and approval by the board policy. I need a motion for 5.01.
So moved.
Ms. Boynton, second, please.
Second.
Second by Mr. Tench. Any questions? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Tench.
Aye.
Mr. Stevens,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy.
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson.
Aye, 5-0, thank you, board. The 5-year forecast, Mr. Parkinson.
Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. The forecast, as I presented at the last work session, the district is in good financial shape. Although we're going to start deficit spending projected next fiscal year. The thing to mention about the 5-year forecast is the ESSER monies. There's round 2, which is about $4 million, and round 3, which is about 10. It is not included in the 5-year forecast. So that being said, that's probably going to have a very positive impact on the 5-year forecast, and likely will be start to impact the November forecast toward the end of this calendar year. The other thing I'd like to point out too is because of the financial position that the district is in and the ESSER money, no new levy would be needed for this upcoming year to go before the voters.
For this coming school year,
Yes.
2021, 22.
Yes, Mrs. Patterson.
Yay. Yay.
Good news.
Good news. So that's all I have, unless there are any questions from the board.
Are there any questions on the 5-year forecast? Okay, I need a motion for 5.01. Excuse me, 5.02, the 5-year forecast.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms.
Mr. Stevens.
Stevens and second by Mrs. Boynton. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stevens,
Aye.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy.
Aye.
Mr. Tench,
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson.
Aye. 5-0, thank you, board. Okay. Superintendent's report and recommendation.
Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. I have 3 items for your consideration this evening, 2 of which we will be asking for your approval. 6.01 is an administrative appointment. In this resolution, you would be accepting the resignation of Diane Shenter and approving her at the same time to be the Director of Human Resources. As we know that we will be, Diane, we're suggesting and recommending that she switch positions this year, and so we are recommending that. And then in 6.02, we have a supplemental materials list, and I asked to have this separated from the consent agenda just because I wanted to take just a minute, literally, to tell you about this. And this is in line with our social justice and equity initiative and work. And so what we're trying to do is increase our access and use of culturally responsive materials. And so what we have before you here are a few of them that we have added for our English class, English 4, our African American history class. Our Perspectives for a Diverse America is a rather new class. We introduced that a couple years ago. That's at the high school level, an elective. And then we have The American Dream for Heskett Middle School, which is and also another book that these are, most of them relate to the history of African Americans, and also talking about various discrimination, stereotypes, bringing awareness. And so we're trying to embed those into our curriculum and into our programming. And so these will be supplemental materials. So we ask for your approval on that. And then on 6.03 is just the first reading. So we will not be voting on this one. This is just, these are a number of updates from Neola. And you'll see there that many are revised. There is one new policy that's related to early high school graduation, which we have always done, but we never had a policy on it, and it's come into play this year. And so as a result, it forced me to look at our policy, which we didn't have one, so I'm asking that we create one. So those are for your consideration this evening. Thank you.
Any questions? I have one. The supplementals.
Yes.
This is all the supplementals for this year?
No, these are just ones that were a result of teachers coming together. And not that I'm aware of, I have not seen any other ones. These, because we voted on our core, our curriculum. I'm trying to think if we voted on that. I know these are just the ones that the teachers, a group of teachers were doing a study and got together as a result of our equity work. So I can find that out for you if there's going to be more. I'm not sure.
So now, I don't recall us voting on the curriculum.
Yeah, I don't believe we have adopted any series
Okay. So
yet.
why are
Yes.
we putting the cart before the horse? Do we have enough students to be in those classes?
Yes, oh yes, yeah, English 4, African American history, yeah, those are staple courses required, the English.
Dr. Selico, we need the materials for the Heskett one because that's a new course. And that was approved in the guided course of study a while back.
The American Dream course, correct? American Dream?
Yes.
Okay, I need a motion for 6.0. We'll take that separate. 6.02, we do not have to vote on 6.03.
So 6.01 and 6.02,
No,
one at a time,
yeah, we'll take them one at a time.
6.01, so moved.
6.01,
Second.
okay, it's been moved by Mr. Ten, second by Mrs. Boynton. Any questions?
But to congratulate Diane on her new position. After the vote.
Did I have the position yet? Roll call, please.
Mr. Tench,
Aye.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy,
Aye.
Mr. Stevens,
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson.
Sure.
We have moved you around so much, and you have been so gracious.
Yes, she has.
I guess I have to say aye. You're welcome.
And she's very excited.
Yes. 5-0, thank you, board. And now I need a
I didn't know you
motion.
were back there.
Yeah, she's back there. I need a motion for 6.02 for the supplementals as listed.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Boynton,
Second.
second by Mr. Stevens. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Stevens,
Aye.
Mr. Tench,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy.
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson.
Aye, 5-0, thank you, board. All right, we are now down to executive session. I need someone to read.
Where are we at here? I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Tench, second by, did I hear you say?
Yes.
Mrs. Boynton. Any questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Tench,
Aye.
Mrs. Boynton,
Aye.
Mr. Stevens,
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy.
Aye.
Mrs. Patterson.
Aye, 5-0, thank you, board. We go into executive session at 6:15.
Congratulations, Diane.